Tonight, the high-stakes speech just a short time from now for President Biden. Also, the United flight, what came off the plane after takeoff. And the images just in tonight, the National Guard now deployed on the New York City subways. First, President Biden addressing the American people tonight, one of the largest audiences before the presidential election. Amid questions about his age and Donald Trump leading in the polls, the president addressing immigration, the economy. And tonight, the president's new move to help the people of Gaza, building a port to get humanitarian aid in. Mary Bruce on what the president revealed tonight. Also tonight, that alarming sight on the runway. A United flight from San Francisco to Japan losing a tire right after takeoff. The emergency landing in Los Angeles, Matt Gutman in California tonight. In New York City this evening, the National Guard now taking up positions on the subway. The new storm threat tonight, severe weather moving from Texas to Georgia, then right up the East Coast. Rob Marciano times this out. Tonight, parents in Texas erupting in anger. An independent report, the investigator finding the first 5 officers responding in Uvalde did not violate policy, suggesting even that the acting police chief be exonerated. A mother and 11-year-old daughter shot and killed sitting in their car outside their home, the urgent manhunt. Tonight, a major new step right here in Washington. Will TikTok be banned here in the U.S. if the Chinese-based company does not sell it? And what TikTok is now saying about a ban in the United States. The CDC alert tonight for parents over melatonin and gummies being ingested by children. Thousands of children ending up in the ER. The well-known couple tonight, they were singers, actors, and we remember one of them here. And the very rare sight, halting tourists on the Vegas Strip. You'll see it.
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening from Washington. President Biden has addressed the nation, a high-stakes moment for this president, delivering his State of the Union address amid this rematch now with Donald Trump. Questions about the president's age and this national polling that shows Donald Trump leading. The president and his team are convinced the American people are not yet fully engaged in this race, and they believe that when they are, they'll know the stakes come this November. Mary Bruce on the president making his case tonight.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Tonight, in a pivotal moment for the future of his presidency, Joe Biden looking to take advantage of his biggest platform yet to convince Americans to give him 4 more years.
It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
The president knows he's down in the polls, well aware voters have questions about his age. Tonight, he drew clear contrasts with Donald Trump, their policies, and their values.
My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win.
The president touted his economic accomplishments.
In 1,000 cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows.
And on immigration, he reminded Americans that at Trump's urging, Republicans in Congress tanked the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades, just to deny Biden a political win. The president tonight pressing Congress to put politics aside and get the border deal done and stop using it as a political weapon.
Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now.
The president also confronting the growing outcry over the mounting civilian death toll in Gaza. Announcing what the White House describes as an emergency mission, the president laid out a plan for the U.S. to construct a temporary port off the coast of Gaza, resembling what you see in these images, to provide a new route for desperately needed food, water, and medicine. A senior administration official tells us it will take weeks to plan and execute the mission, which will be carried out by the Army.
No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
The president also emphasized an issue central to his campaign, abortion, drawing a sharp contrast with Trump, who appointed 3 of the Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. In the First Lady's box tonight, Kate Cox, the Texas woman who was denied an abortion under the state's strict ban, even though she faced life-threatening complications.
Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women, but they found out. When reproductive freedom was on the ballot, we won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
Now, the president and the White House well aware of the stakes here tonight. It's not often that the president has the near full attention of the country like this. His campaign viewing this as a launching point for the general election. And starting tomorrow, the president will now take this message out on the campaign trail. David.
Mary Bruce, live at the White House tonight. Mary, thank you. In the meantime, we turn to the other news this Thursday night, that alarming sight on the runway moments after a United flight took off in San Francisco, headed to Japan, then the emergency landing in Los Angeles. Watch this as a tire falls off the United passenger jet right after takeoff. Nearly 250 passengers on board. Matt Gutman reporting from California.
Tonight, the alarming video that packed long-haul passenger jet losing a tire just moments after takeoff. Watch again here as one of the rear tires falls right off that plane. The United Airlines Boeing 777 with 249 passengers and crew on board, heading from San Francisco to Osaka around 11:30 a.m. local time.
They think it might have been you, they're not sure, but you might have lost a wheel on takeoff. Okay, United 35, thanks.
It literally just happened.
That tire plunging into the employee parking lot, crushing several cars and damaging a fence. Fortunately, no one on the ground was injured. That plane dumping fuel and making an emergency landing, touching down safely in Los Angeles about 2 hours after takeoff. It comes after this mid-air scare involving another United flight. Flames seen shooting out of the engine shortly after takeoff from Houston on Monday night.
Panic set in with a lot of people. And a lot of the people around me were screaming and crying.
Tonight, United Airlines blaming that fire on bubble wrap that got sucked into the engine.
And David, back to that plane that lost a tire, United said it's going to address the needs of both the customers and the car owners whose vehicles were damaged. We've just learned that that tire weighs 265 pounds. It's miraculous that no one was hurt. The FAA says it is investigating. This is being looked into by officials as a possible maintenance issue. David.
Matt Gutman in California tonight. Matt, thank you. In New York City tonight, National Guard troops are now on patrol in the city subways. Why authorities took this move and what riders are already saying tonight. Aaron Katersky now in New York.
Tonight, armed and in full uniform, 750 New York National Guard members are now patrolling the nation's largest transit system. In addition to these National Guardsmen, the NYPD has surged 1,000 police officers into the subway in more than 100 stations around the city. NYPD's Chief of Transit, Michael Kemper, hopes it all reassures riders. Now they're going to see National Guard members in addition to your cops.
Yep. And look, we welcome, all the help we can get. This is all about public safety.
Despite the increased presence, more violent incidents in the past 24 hours. Police releasing this video of the person suspected of hitting a female conductor in the head with a bottle on Wednesday. And overnight, a 53-year-old man was stabbed on a train in the Bronx. Last year saw the highest number of subway assaults in 27 years. So far this year, transit crime is up more than 13% in the city compared to last year.
They've made over 3,000 arrests already this year in the subway system. But unfortunately, we find ourselves arresting the same small group of people over and over and over again.
After a spike, subway crime is coming down. But, David, after some high-profile instances of violence, the authorities well know it's not the statistics that matter. It's how people feel when they ride the subway. David?
No question about that. Aaron Katersky down in the subway for us tonight. Aaron, thank you. We turn now to the new storms. 40 million Americans on alert at this hour. Severe weather moving from Texas to Georgia, then right up the East Coast again. Rounds of severe weather from Texas to the Carolinas. Large hail, damaging winds, possible tornadoes with this. And then heavy rain right up the East Coast. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City by Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Snow possible in New England from this. Up to 4 more inches of rain coming to Georgia after record rainfall in Atlanta. Heavy rain in New York City in the past 24 hours and more now on the way. Hartford, Connecticut, bracing for the same tonight. Let's get right back to senior meteorologist Robb Marciano timing it out again tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. This is a potent storm, and it's only going to grow here and really impact everybody in the eastern half of the country. Severe weather threat, that's a big one. The southern plains all the way to South Carolina. We've got watches up tonight for Oklahoma and Texas. Storms have already been rumbling through Dallas, and this front will pick up speed and kind of spread out. Chicago, heavy rain in Michigan and through Ohio. And look at those storms across the south. Those are going to have some damaging winds. Tornadoes possible, I think so, more so tomorrow from Little Rock to Atlanta to Savannah, and then Saturday into Charleston. We could see some damage across that swath. Meanwhile, that's when it gets organized here in the Northeast. Heavy rain coming here, very heavy rain into Sunday morning. This after a week's worth of heavy rain in the Northeast again. David.
Rob Marciano again tonight. Rob, thanks. We turn now to Texas tonight and to Uvalde, where parents erupted in anger after an independent investigator found that the first 5 officers on the scene of that school massacre did not violate policy. The investigator also suggesting that the acting police chief be exonerated. ABC's Mireya Villarreal from Texas now.
These are the dramatic images of the first Uvalde officers entering Robb Elementary, being met with gunfire and retreating, then waiting a total of 77 minutes before breaching the door. But tonight, a new independent report finding that those officers did nothing wrong, sparking outrage again in Uvalde.
How dare you? How dare you? You were paid by them.
At a packed council meeting, retired Detective Jesse Prado, hired by the city to investigate the deadly rampage that killed 19 children and 2 teachers, detailing multiple failures by law enforcement, but finding that none of those officers violated policy.
There were no indications of wrongdoing in any of his actions. There was no evidence of serious acts of misconduct.
Even saying acting chief of police Mariano Pargas, who resigned weeks after the shooting, should be exonerated. Kim Rubio, whose daughter Lexi was killed, and other families demanding the council still take action against the officers.
Do what's right, terminate them.
David, 2 of the council members went so far as to say they do not accept or agree with the findings of this report, calling it insulting and embarrassing. The mayor just told me right now, however, they do not plan to make any decisions until everyone can fully digest this report and they can have their next council meeting, which is set for next Tuesday. David?
Mireya Villarreal tonight. Mireya, thank you. We turn now to the urgent manhunt tonight after the murder of a mother and her 11-year-old daughter, killed while sitting in their car outside their home in Worcester, Massachusetts. Tonight, 1 suspect now in custody. The search for an accomplice underway. Here's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, an urgent manhunt for a suspect wanted in the brazen murder of a mother and daughter who were shot in their car outside their home in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Getting reports of between 12 and 20 gunshots.
Chastity Nunez and 11-year-old Zella, who was legally blind, were found in this bullet-riddled Nissan Tuesday afternoon.
New charges in Worcester.
Police later arresting 28-year-old Correll Manguel, charging him with assault to murder. And tonight, the hunt is on for his alleged accomplice, 27-year-old Dejan Balnavis.
White car with Connecticut tags, 2 males wearing masks.
Police say security video shows the men walk up and start shooting at the car before they get away in a white sedan. Tonight, a heartbroken family is remembering a loving mother who served in the Connecticut National Guard and a daughter who had overcome major challenges.
Was happy and healthy and funny and just so loving and made it through all of that. To be taken like this, it's not right.
David, authorities have not commented on a possible motive or whether the victims and the suspects may have known each other. Mangual has pleaded not guilty. David?
Ariel Reshef reporting. Ariel, thank you. Tonight here in Washington, Congress pushing a bill threatening to ban TikTok in the U.S. unless it's sold by its Chinese parent company in 6 months. Lawmakers concerned about national security issues. It's now out of committee, and the full House could vote as early as next week. TikTok tonight issuing a statement saying the government is attempting to strip 170 million Americans of their constitutional right to free expression. To other news now, in an historic moment for NATO tonight, Sweden formally joining, now the 32nd member of America's most important alliance. Secretary of State Antony Blinken accepting documents from Sweden's prime minister at a ceremony in Washington. Sweden, along with Finland, petitioned to join NATO after Russia invaded Ukraine 2 years ago now, ending centuries of neutrality. When we come back here on this busy night, the CDC alert for parents this evening over melatonin and gummies being ingested by children. Thousands of children are ending up in the emergency room. Also tonight, a beloved couple singing together for decades. And tonight here, We remember one of them. Tonight in Texas, amid those fires, a utility company is now coming forward to claim responsibility for apparently igniting the largest wildfire in Texas history. Xcel Energy says power lines may have sparked the massive Smokehouse Creek fire, burning more than 1 million acres across the Panhandle, destroying homes, the flames crossing into Oklahoma. That fire is now mostly contained. Tonight, a new CDC report warning parents about the dangers of children eating their parents' melatonin. Health officials say between 2019 and 2022, 11,000 children ended up in emergency rooms after eating melatonin gummies while unsupervised. The children 5 and under, melatonin is often used by adults to regulate the body's natural sleep cycle. It's often sold as flavored gummies. Authorities now warning children are mistaking them for candy. When we come back here tonight, the iconic couple singing together for decades, and we remember one of them right here tonight. And a rare sight stopping tourists on the Vegas Strip. You'll see it. We learned today that singer and actor Steve Lawrence has died, one half of the iconic Grammy and Emmy-winning couple Steve and Edie. They rose to fame in the 50s, performing for decades. Edie passed away in 2013. Steve Lawrence's son tonight calling him an inspiration. He was 88. When we come back here tonight, we've seen a lot, but never this on the Vegas Strip. People were stopped in their tracks. Finally tonight here, only in Vegas. Tonight, the very rare sighting on the Las Vegas Strip. At the Bellagio Hotel and Casino, their famed fountains. The incredible display people from across the world stopping to watch. But this week, they've been watching something else. Swimming right there in the waters, a very rare bird, a yellow-billed loon. One of the 10 rarest birds in the U.S. You can see it there, swimming right below families watching from the street. Tonight, the National Park Service saying the young bird, not yet an adult, was likely migrating and got off course, seeking shelter in Vegas from a storm. Tonight, the Bellagio saying in a statement, we are happy to welcome the most exclusive of guests, pausing their fountain show and working with state wildlife officials to safely rescue the yellow-billed loon and relocate it to safe waters so the loon can resume its migration north. Tonight, the show-stopping loon now safe and on its way. And those famous fountains now restarting their spectacular show. The yellow-billed loon on its way. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.